Hello everyone and welcome back to the garden. You can see that things are looking a lot different now. It's since our last update video, we've done a lot of work here in the yard and the ranunculus have long gone, and we have these dahlias in their place and they're starting to put on a little bit of new growth, starting to get a little bit taller. Very, very exciting. We have a lot of new varieties here mixed in with these, as well as some of our old favorites from last year. If you haven't seen our dahlia tour from last year, be sure to check that one out. I'm sure I will do another dahlia tour again this year just to see what's growing out here in the yard. Hopefully it'll be beautiful. As you can see, these are getting pretty tall, so before we know it, it will be time to pinch these. Probably gonna go ahead and pinch a lot of these today, especially these big lanky ones. The dahlias from seed are looking pathetic. They are still teeny tiny, so small. I have no clue why they are growing so slowly. I'm going to fertilize them and feed them and see if that will boost their growth a little bit. Most of them have about 3 sets of true leaves, but still they are really tiny. As you can see here in this shot, we have our Dianthus starting to bloom there in the front. Those pink things, that is the sweet coral Dianthus, which is really exciting. And these are definitely a coral color. I tried my best to kind of capture the true color here in this video, but very pink, like a kind of blend of pink and red. That's very nice. I wish I would have purchased a mix rather than just purchasing the single color pink and pink coral like this. I think since my yard is small, it's more suited to mixes. The Calendula are also still blooming, but they will actually be getting removed probably by the next time you see another update video. These Calendula are going to be gone. I really enjoyed having this green heart gold Calendula in my garden. I think it's very pretty. As you can see, those open centers are really beautiful right now. And it's such a cheery, like, welcome to summer. Like, summer's almost here. The warm weather is almost here. It's such a cheerful addition. I used to think I didn't like Calendula, but I think I am slowly but surely changing my mind about that. We also got our Oriental lilies planted in the ground. These are the Oriental lily bulbs. I believe there's also some Asiatic lilies in there. A couple varieties of Asiatic lilies planted in here as well, but admittedly, I did not label them. I'm just going to label them as they bloom. I was in a hurry. You know, I've been really busy lately, so I have just kind of been neglecting the garden. As you can see, they're sticking up out of the soil. That's just because when I received them from the supplier, they were already growing. So I figured, you know what? There's no sense in me planting these all the way in the ground. They're going to emerge soon anyway, so they're greening up. The same is also true with our gladiolus bulbs that we planted. You can see the spikes are starting to stick up out of the ground. This is that center row of the hoop house where our ranunculus used to be. But I'm very excited for gladiolus this year. Hopefully we won't have any problems with thrips. I actually soaked the corms in a bleach solution before I even planted them. So hopefully they'll be beautiful. Also blooming right now are the scented stalks. These were a complete surprise to me that these actually grew this year. I've tried to grow them probably 3 seasons now, and they've never done well. And this year they finally are blooming and look pretty good. They're about 2.5 feet tall. We have some beautiful doubles and some beautiful single flowers. And I am just so pleasantly surprised that we finally were able to have success with this. And I think the main reason for that was that I was able to stay on top of any kind of mold that presented itself in the hoop house, because in the past mold had been a major concern. These flowers will also be coming out of the garden this week because we have to make room for more dahlias. I have more dahlias in trays sprouting, some late dahlias sprouting that are going to replace these. But take a look at these beautiful colors. This is just the column mix scented stock. Usually you get about 50% double flowers, 50% single flowers with column mix, or so I've been told, and it seems to be true with my experience here in my own yard. But a beautiful range of colors. We have the deep pink, but lots of just lovely soft pastels, and the fragrance. Oh wow. They're called scented stocks. Yeah, whatever, I get it, they're scented, right? But let me tell you, This scent is gorgeous. It's not like a floral, like punch you in the face, like I'm a flower type scent. Like, you know, like hyacinths or peonies, how strong they are. It's not like that at all. This is the most subtle, beautiful. I would describe it as vanilla smelling with a hint of like spicy pepper. It is gorgeous. Like, I love it. I'm so surprised. You know, I wasn't really sure if I was going to like scented stock, but after actually smelling them, yes, scented stock is definitely a winner. It's definitely worth, I think, the trouble for, you know, growing it here in my yard. I'm going to try again next year, and hopefully we'll have some good results next year as well. You can see here are some of the single flowers, the stems with the single flowers. Even the single flowered ones, I think, are beautiful. Some people, I know, kind of select to make sure they only get double flowers using the temperature, but I kind of like both of them. I'm not really offended that there's some single flowers in my garden. I would definitely grow these again. And, you know, I kind of like the single flowers too as well. We're also getting rid of the ornamental kale, the ornamental cabbage rather, here in the yard. We're picking them all. Beautiful colors. This is the Crane series. Here are just some of the Crane purples that I had left that I didn't use. Not too much problem with cabbage moths either. Early in the season, I didn't even have to cover these with an insect barrier or anything. The stems are plenty long enough to use in arrangements. This was from a fall planting that I overwintered in the hoop house. Even though the weather is a little bit warmer, we still have that beautiful color there in the center. I mean, they're a little bit less colorful than they were in the cooler weather, but still colorful nonetheless, so it's not a big deal. So, lots of turnover happening in the yard right now. When these Dianthus are finished, I'm going to be putting in some zinnias. The larkspur are also going to be blooming very soon. Excited to see those, of course. The carnations are looking good. See how tall? They look like weedy looking grass, but that's just kind of how the carnations grow. They look kind of tall and raggedy and weedy looking. And hopefully I'll have more information for you guys on those as soon as those start blooming. This is the La France carnation. They are a pink carnation. Hopefully they will be beautiful. We also have the chrysanthemum cuttings. If you remember how bad those looked, well, look at them now. I took about 56 cuttings, and of those cuttings, all of them rooted except for like 3 or 4. Even when they looked that bad. I'm telling you, these are so tough and just so strong. So don't get discouraged if you take chrysanthemum cuttings for the first time and, you know, they look kind of rough. Don't get discouraged because they'll likely be fine. I went ahead and I transplanted out those chrysanthemum cuttings that you just saw in that tray. I transplanted them out into the garden where the kale, the ornamental kale, used to be. So now we have a bigger, complete chrysanthemum bed. This chrysanthemum bed is about 4 feet by, I want to say about 6 feet, maybe 8 feet long. I didn't measure it. But a very small space. Hopefully it will produce a lot of flowers for us. And in place of the Icelandic poppies we have, and the scented stock, we have our dahlias. So I've started the process of putting the rest of our dahlias in, even though we have a few trays of dahlias that still didn't sprout. It's amazing to me how some dahlia tubers just take a lot longer to finally wake up and start growing than other varieties. I'll admit I'm getting a little bit impatient with them, but patience is a virtue, and I'm sure they'll wake up and start growing fine, and we'll have a lot of stuff growing in our gorgeous garden. That's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I am so appreciative. I really am. As always, be sure to leave a comment down below. I love to know what you guys think. Was it helpful? What experiences do you have? I'm always learning from the comments, which I really love. As always, if you're not a subscriber and you like this video, be sure to hit the little subscribe button, hit the little bell. The bell tells you whenever we make new videos. It's a great way to keep up with the channel and grow just our little gardening community here. As always, all the links to everything is down in the description below. Our link to Patreon and our YouTube memberships is there. It helps support the channel. It helps me pay for things like blog fees, and occasionally I get help with editing, which is really helpful because, let's face it, I am not the most tech-savvy person on the planet. But I am trying to keep learning and keep making our videos better. There's also a link to the blog. Oftentimes you can check out the blog and there will be more information and more pictures about the thing that I've talked about in the video, just because sometimes it helps for me to write down that information, kind of organize it much better. As always, feel free to share this video with a friend. It helps us so much when we grow the channel. I hope that you're having such an incredible day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.